I'm a Detroit Lions season ticket holder, and I, going into the football arenas and then all the
Yeah.
time, and you see like other venues, you're like, oh my God, this is like so
60,000
teeny, but
people. Yeah,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
exactly. Did you grow up a Lions fan?
Yeah, because I grew up, I mean, we lived in Michigan till I was like 5. Then we moved to Florida, for 8 years or something. I've lived all over the place as an adult, Atlanta, New York. I moved to Oregon for a year. I lived in Florida twice. I've kind of bounced all over the place. It's the beauty of being a single person with no kids. Can do whatever I want essentially. But yeah, always been a Lions fan ever since I was younger. Because I was a kid during the Barry years. So it kind of was like, if you're from here, you gotta be, a Lions fan if you were around during that time because Barry Sanders is the GOAT.
But they sucked for a long time, didn't they? They were like the
Bro.
worst team in the league for a while, weren't they?
Oh my gosh, yes. And then ship Matthew Stafford over to the Rams and he wins the Super Bowl. Jeez, but it's
Hey, I
okay.
hear
I, I,
you. Growing up a
I think
Jets
we're on
fan,
our way.
I can't say much as a Jets fan.
Are you still you're
Oh
still a
yeah,
Jets
yeah,
fan?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not a
Yeah.
season ticket holder like you are, but like, I grew up a Jets. I remember like, being 5 years old watching Jets games with my grandfather. So, I'm a Jets fan, but they've sucked for a long time. They
Yeah,
used to be
yeah,
good when I was
yeah.
a kid. They were very good when I was a kid. They made it to like the championships, like the AFC championships and stuff, but like
Yeah.
they've sucked for the past 15 years.
I was talking to my stepdad the other, and he put it in perspective. I was like, oh, like it would be so cool if the Lions won a playoff game because they've only won one since I've been born. And he was like, they've only won one since I've been born. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that puts it in perspective. And he's 60. They've won one playoff game in 60 years.
Oh shoot, that's crazy. Maybe the Jets are a little bit better than that, but
But I think it's
not by
important to
much.
be like a fan of where you're from. You meet
Oh
people and they're
yeah,
like, I meet people that live here and they're Green Bay Packers fans because it's easier to be a Green Bay Packers fan. And I'm like, man, I feel like that's kind of lame. Like,
100%.
you're a Patriots fan, for what reason? What tie do you have to that? I get people who like are Brady fans because he went to Michigan, so that kind of makes sense if you're a Michigan fan. But I don't know. I don't. It's just weird to me when you're like, I think I'm gonna like the Seahawks, even though I have absolutely nothing to do with Seattle.
Yeah. Ah, shoot, I totally hear that. That's sick though that you have the season tickets though. That's pretty cool. So every home game you're at,
Yep,
even
for
when
the
it's
past
negative
couple of years.
26 degrees.
Well, we're a dome, so it doesn't matter for us. It's nice and toasty in there in the wintertime. But I have been to Lambeau during like a snowstorm,
That's the
and
Packers
that
stadium, right?
so much fun. Like, don't tell them I said that, but it was a blast.
How
I
far
could
is
see
that from
why
you?
Green Bay. It's crazy because here's Michigan and Wisconsin's the next state, but we have a giant lake between us, so you got to go down and around or through the Upper Peninsula in Canada and blah 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 blah.
There's
So
no bridge.
no, you could take a ferry, like you could drive and they could put your car on a ferry, but it takes a long time, I guess, and only a certain amount of hours and blah, blah, that it runs. So I've yet to make a drive there, but I've flown there a couple times because I have a good high school friend that lives there now. So, which
How
she
how far
lives.
how far of a drive is that?
It's probably 7, 8 hours
That's a commitment.
go around. Yeah, in 8 hours I could go to New York. Like, why would I?